Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Okay, so let's talk training camps. Let's talk sparring partners. Bob Arum has revealed that Tyson Fury has contacted him and asked for Big Baby Jared Anderson, Mr. Anderson, to join him in the United Kingdom for his training camp as he prepares for Dillian Whyte. So, of course, that's got me thinking, well, who else could Tyson Fury possibly bring in to help him prepare for Dillian Whyte? Who is it that Dillian Whyte could bring in to prepare for Tyson Fury? Now, I'm not trying to teach anybody here how to suck eggs. Not at all. A lot of you will know how training camps work. A lot of you will know that, especially for big fights, the main fighter will bring in anywhere from 2 or 3 sparring partners up to 5 or 6 sparring partners. It depends. And again, a sparring partner doesn't have to be an exact carbon copy replica of your opponent, because it's quite hard to do. It is. So what you do is you look at as near as damn it as you can. They will look at the height, the weight. Are they a southpaw? Are they orthodox? Are they an inside fighter? Are they a jabber? Do they have a great left hook? Do they have a great uppercut? All these kind of things. This is what they look at. So each fighter, each sparring partner that they bring into camp will have his own attributes that they could pick off just so come fight night, they're used to facing it. So we're going to start off with Tyson Fury. Of course, I want to give you a couple of names who maybe Tyson Fury should maybe look at. Listen, I'm trying to do this as unbiased and impartial as I possibly can, okay? Yes, I'm Team Body Snatcher. Of course, I want Dillian Whyte to win this fight. So, that said, I'm going to try and look at it from the outside looking in, which I am outside looking in, of course. But who is it that Tyson Fury should possibly bring in with alongside Jared Anderson? So, Jared Anderson, of course, will be one. Who else? Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, Filip Herkovich, Martin Bakole, Daniel Dubois. Now, the reason I said Derek Chisora is because a lot of you would probably say Derek Chisora. I don't know why so many people seem to think that Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte are almost carbon copy replicas of each other. They're not. Anybody who knows boxing, truly knows boxing, knows styles, will know that they are at times polar opposite. Dillian Whyte is a far more patient fighter. Dillian Whyte is a better boxer. Dillian Whyte has better ring IQ than Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora is a come-forward brawler. Dillian Whyte can do that, and he has done that. So, of course, if you were to bring in Derek Chisora, that would be on the scenario if Dillian Whyte opted to come forward and to start throwing bombs, which is very probable. He could do that. So Derek Chisora, of course, he's a big guy. He's strong. He's pretty handy with the body shots and that as well. So, yeah, there's going to be a couple of attributes at least that Tyson Fury could use with Derek Chisora. Most notably, the size, I suppose. Joseph Parker, much like Derek Chisora, of course, he shared the ring with Dillian Whyte once before. So, of course, he's going to have that experience anyway. But Derek Chisora, of course, has shared the ring twice with Dillian Whyte. Joseph Parker once. Both of them had absolute wars with Dillian Whyte, did they not? Now, Joseph Parker, he's faster than Dillian Whyte. He's not as strong as Dillian Whyte. His foot speed is faster. He's more of a back foot fighter than the aggressor. Dillian Whyte, at times, will be the patient back foot boxer. That's where Joseph Parker comes in. Joseph Parker, listen, he's already part of Tyson Fury's team in that anyway. I think they pretty much live together now with Joseph Parker's family over here now as well. They go for runs together, they work out together, they do those tip-tap body spars and that together, all that kind of thing. So it would make sense that Joseph Parker would be part of that team anyway. Filip Herkovich. Now, Filip Herkovich is obviously a big guy, he's a strong guy. Very good jab. What's Dillian Whyte got? A very, very good jab. And he's pretty good on the inside as well. That's something that Dillian Whyte is good at. Dillian Whyte is very, very comfortable on the inside. Again, complete different fighter to a Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, big, skinny, gangly, fights from the outside. One big right hand. Dillian Whyte has a lot more in his arsenal than the one-trick pony Deontay Wilder, if we're being brutally honest. That's why Filip Herkovich could be quite handy. In fact, Filip Herkovich was part of David Haye's training camp when David Haye was supposed to take on Tyson Fury. So, I don't know. Would Filiperkovic be pretty good in Tyson Fury's camp, or would he be more suited for a Dillian Whyte camp? I don't know. And again, Martin Bakole, again, big, strong, likes to fight on the inside. Martin Bakole loves nothing more to stand there and trade. That's what he does. Ultimately, one day it's going to get him knocked out when he does that, because his defense is pretty shoddy. Okay, but he likes to do that, and he's heavy-handed with both. Dillian Whyte will fight on the inside. He will trade at times, and he throws punches with spite. And that's where Martin Bakole comes in. Likewise with Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois doesn't just throw a jab. He throws a jab to hurt you. He throws the right hand to knock you out. At times, that's what Dillian Whyte does. Yes, Dillian Whyte will use the left for a range. Of course he will. He'll try and set you up for a left hook or a body shot or whatever else it may be. Daniel Dubois is big, strong, and very, very heavy-handed. Tyson Fury needs those kind of sparring partners. Listen, maybe you will totally disagree with me on all of that and come out with a couple more names that could be better than that. That's cool. Anyway, let's move on to Dillian Whyte. Who should Dillian Whyte bring in to prepare for Tyson Fury? Now, I've come up with Robert Helenius, Tony Yoka, Stephen Robinson, Marius Wack, and Dempsey McKean. I did think about Lawrence Okolie, only because he's a bit awkward at times. Anyway, now, firstly, a lot of you will go, oh, Stephen Robinson, you're just saying that because he's your pal. Listen, I wouldn't do that. Okay, I want Dillian Whyte to win this fight, okay? So, the reason why I say Stephen Robinson is for a couple of reasons. Number one, he just completed his second or maybe even third camp with Hughie Fury. So, of course, he knows the Fury style. He's used to it, okay? And, of course, he can mimic a lot of it himself. He's a switch hitter at times. You won't have seen that with the one fight you've seen on Sky Sports. In fact, he's fighting this weekend. And what's he going to do then? Again, I mean, based on the level of opposition, who knows what he's going to do. But he's done hundreds and hundreds of rounds with Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury is probably as close to Tyson Fury as you could possibly get if Tyson Fury decides to be the boxer, okay? Stephen Robinson, of course, was supposed to have been part of the Anthony Joshua camp. He'd already done a few rounds with Joshua. Joshua liked him. Rob McCracken liked him, and they all agreed that Stephen Robinson, because he's 6'7", he switches hits, he's a big guy, he's a strong guy. They wanted him in there for the Anthony Joshua camp, as he thought he was going to be fighting Tyson Fury next. That was already agreed. Everything was done. There's a reason for that. Because it's a big old unit. Now he's stronger. He's stronger than Tyson Fury and punches a lot harder than Tyson Fury. But again, this is sparring, okay? So obviously he's not going to let full leather go to try and knock out Dillian Whyte in sparring. Of course not. Of course not. Okay, but, I mean, Dillian and Stephen, they have met before in Portugal. They were supposed to do some kind of sparring, but Stephen, he got like this last-minute call to go for a sponsorship meal. I mean, talk about a bad time, okay? So they never actually got to have their spar. Anyway, that's why Stephen Robinson. Tony Yoka, you need skill. He's a big guy as well. Was he 6'6"? Stephen Robinson, he's 6'7". Again, Tyson Fury is 6'9". That's why I'm talking about like the big guys, for those of you who don't know. But Tony Yoka, he's a big guy, but he's skillful. I wouldn't say he's the strongest guy in the world, although he is quite strong. But he's quite nimble. He's fast on his feet. What's Tyson Fury? Fast on his feet. Pretty decent with his hands and that as well is Tony Yoka. I mean, he'll probably be the most expensive one out of the lot. Dempsey McKean. Now, I'll say Dempsey McKean, and yes, he's a southpaw. Tyson Fury is not a southpaw, but Tyson Fury is a switch hitter. Again, that's why I say Stephen Robinson with switch hitting. He's a natural orthodox fighter, but he can switch hit at times. You know fine well that Tyson Fury, because he will already know Dillian Whyte has never fought a southpaw before, or at least not in the professional ring. So Tyson Fury may well go southpaw at times. Dillian Whyte needs to get used to having a southpaw opposite him. Dempsey McKean, he was part of Dillian Whyte's training camp recently when Dillian Whyte was supposed to fight Otto Wallin before, obviously, he had to pull out with that shoulder injury. So get used to fighting a southpaw. Dillian needs to get used to having a southpaw. Again, all these fighters will all be doing alternate rounds. 1 round in, 1 round out. 2 rounds in, 2 rounds out. 3 rounds in, swap over. However, okay, there's going to be different methods to it. Xavier Miller will decide what to do on each session. Of course, Sugar Hill and that will as well. And yeah, it is very expensive, especially for Dillian Whyte, as Dillian Whyte's got to bring these people over to Portugal. Okay, so we're talking accommodation, we're talking food, and of course pay them. Personally, if I was Dillian Whyte, I'd just, in his gym, just throw down a few mattresses and a couple of blankets, say, there you go. Hey, save yourself some money on the old accommodation, okay? Here you go. It's some Greg's pasties and a few packets of crisps and some orange juice. There you go. Anyway, now Dempsey McKean, as I said, he's big, yes, he's strong, and he's pretty skillful as well. And him being southpaw, Dillian will need to get used to a southpaw in there. Maybe Otto Wallin, maybe. And of course, Marius Wack. And some of you look at Marius Wack and go, why would you use Marius Wack? A lot of people use Marius Wack as a sparring partner when they're fighting big guys. Because he's a big guy. He's a big, strong guy. Yes, Dillian Whyte, of course, he has shared the ring with Marius Wack before, of course, over there in Saudi Arabia, when Dillian Whyte didn't even train for that fight. Obviously, because he thought that maybe his boxing career was over with the way that the board and UK and everything were pretty much sabotaging him. Maybe in WBC and that as well. But Marius Wack is big and he's strong and he's kind of clunky and awkward. Tyson Fury is clunky and awkward. He's not this graceful swan that so many of his fanatical fans would have you believe. He's not. He never has been. He's unorthodox for a reason. Not unorthodox because just for the sake of it. He's unorthodox because he's funny to watch. Marius Wack, quite similar at times as well. Okay, that's why I say Marius Wack and Robert Helenius. Now, Robert Helenius, he's a guy who was in Deontay Wilder's training camp last time out for the third Fury fight. Again, big guy, strong guy, technically very good. Again, Dillian Whyte will know this. Of course, he's shared the ring with Robert Helenius before, where he beat Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius seems to have improved over the last couple of fights. Again, he was fighting Adam Kownacki, but again, a very, very good sparring partner for Dillian Whyte. So, anyway, listen, that's mine. Maybe you'll totally disagree, and that's absolutely fine. Drop yours below. Who do you think Dillian Whyte should bring in? Who do you think Tyson Fury should bring in? Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.